Um, Brady, if you show your video, then Lynn can see you, but as you wish. So with all that said and done, I will call this meeting to order at 5:07 p.m. We have Chome, Brady, and Kit, and myself here, and Lynn via Zoom. Our first item on our agenda is our approval of the agenda. Would Commissioner like to move to approve the agenda?
So move.
Brady moves.
I would like
You want a second first?
Oh, okay, a second.
Okay, Chome seconds.
Okay.
And then are there any requests for revision to the agenda?
Yes. Yeah, I was wondering about potentially moving the public comment to just right after the update presentation from the two committees so that community could potentially, after they can provide input after they learn about what we are proposing for the levy.
I hear that. We did advertise it at the beginning of our meeting.
Or could maybe could it be that some people who need to leave first maybe comment at the beginning and then give the option of people who want to give comment later after hearing the information that the so it's
I'd like to
more
only
people
have
can-
one public comment.
Yeah, I wonder, I don't know if people have any input on when they would like. It's just, I just as an option, because I know that, for myself, like if I would love to hear comments after they know what we are thinking, so that they have,
Yeah,
they give comments in a more meaningful way.
I think Tom makes a good point, and that is that our main focus is the budget and what we're trying to do, the budget, and I think it's helpful for us for people to hear what we're talking about and then comment on it. So I think that's not a bad thing to have the comment after the but it's really levy discussion is I think the question. So I don't know if
Brady, input?
yeah.
I don't think we have it twice in an agenda, so I don't support that. But I think you're talking about moving public comment to after the budget committee update. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, I guess wherever we're talking about the budget.
That would be the budget committee update.
Okay. Yeah, after that. That seems to make sense to me.
Lynn?
I agree. We can move it to after the committee updates.
Okay, so Chome moved to move
Move the public comment
to after the budget committee
before the
update.
levy discussion.
I'll say Kit seconded that.
Sorry, wait, after the levy discussion or
No, after the budget committee update.
Before the levy
Okay,
discussion.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, I second it.
So to clarify, it's been amended.
Okay.
The motion is to move it to after the budget committee update.
Right. And I also have another suggestion. I'm not sure what other people think. That is to have the bylaw discussion before the levy resolution, just in terms of the I guess the appearance of us having, like the rules of how we function approved before we decide to legislate, before we make a decision to impose taxes. I don't know, I'm in my mind, I feel like in terms of the governance, it makes sense to do that, to do it in that order, as opposed to like we make decision on how much to impose taxes, but then we don't have our bylaws, our governance in order yet.
I hear it. I mean, we're still bound by the laws of Washington State, but
Right.
I would say if you are suggesting that we move that we move it to the first item under unfinished business.
Right, yeah.
Is there a second to that?
I'm not, I think the laws cover what we need to do, so I'm not really for it.
Don't mind it one way or the
Yeah, I
other.
don't think we need the second. I think we just need a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Okay, so the motion that we're entertaining is to amend the agenda by putting public comment to number 4, correct?
For five. Yeah, four.
Well, we're
Yeah.
taking out
Yeah.
number
You're right.
2, which is public comment, and making it number 4. And putting the bylaws
That's
as the first item under unfinished business. And striking through that. Okay.
Is that going to be all one motion that we're gonna do all those movements?
So we have a motion to approve the agenda with the revisions of moving public comment to item number 4 after the budget committee update, and moving bylaws to number 5, the first item under unfinished business. That work? All in favor of approving as amended, say aye. Thank you. So now we are not doing public
Is
comment.
that an eye from Lynn?
Lynn, did you?
Yeah, yes, aye, thank
And
you.
I said aye,
No, I've seen that.
so it was approved unanimously. So now we can move on to our committee updates. Lynn, do you want me to just take this one? For our
Yes.
communication, our newly hatched communication committee. We have gotten as far as creating an action plan, which looks like securing a website, lopezrec.org, where we will have meeting dates, special meeting dates, agendas, approved documents. So anytime we approve a document, we can post it there. Any approved minutes. And just for clarification, we approve our minutes at our regularly scheduled board meetings. So then we would post them after that. Eventually, I would like website emails addresses for the commissioners. I think that's important for various reasons. Contact information, a contact link, and updates on any action to be taken. Anything beyond that kind of basic information would be, we'd bring it back to the full commission if we wanted further action.
Right.
We will continue to post on Lopez Rocks, including the meeting on the calendar with agendas on the message board, putting approved minutes, and any messages from committees we have can also go there. And then, Lynn, we'd like to recruit some volunteers for our committee. So that's the next step. And I think we'll put that out on the message board. So that's our update from our communications committees.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And I would like to suggest that if it is possible, it would be really nice to have board packets available as well. I know we don't have any staff, but to the extent that we can, if we can share, for example, the budget, draft budget or revised budget, whatever, if that can be made available, I think community member would really appreciate that.
Okay, I'll put that as a to consider.
Okay.
We're going to move on to our budget committee update. Okay, after I make that note. And
I guess this next.
Yeah, probably then.
yep, and Cho, myself, and Carol have been working on this, sometimes from faraway destinations. And we have put together a variety of information to present. Carol's going to actually walk us through it.
You're gonna be my fingers,
Oh, do I share from my screen? Okay.
or I can share it from mine, but I don't.
You could share it from yours too if you're on. Are you already on it?
I was. I did post my computer.
Yeah. That way you can share your screen and kind of
Yeah, then you
have the
can
power
control
of
it
the.
yourself.
As we are, as Carol's getting ready here, just as for our commissioners to consider, there's lots of ways to build a budget. And we've had lots of community input that continues to come in. We've had 2 years worth of community input and it continues to be provided. There's initial conversations that happen with voters in November around what the vision of Lopez Rec would be. And we're continuing that conversation here. So good catch.
Scary.
Yeah.
So.
I'm gonna turn off my mic in a second, but you turn yours off first. We're good? Yeah, thank you. And then I'll give you the mic back.
Okay.
As we are looking at kind of budget options for us to consider, first of all, we've already taken a big change in the levy rate. There's been a lot of compromising, refining, scaling down, and there's options for that again, or options for people to say, actually, I think it needs to be higher in some areas. So as Carol goes through and presents that, I just want you to keep that in your mind of that's kind of the backdrop. Like philosophically, what are we attempting to do here? So as when we get to the place where we have a levy discussion, we can have an opportunity to frame our input and our requests through that lens of the aim of what we're trying to do. As a backdrop to kind of our ongoing discussion as a commissioner, as a commission, we've talked about the success of getting it passed. We've talked about the cost of a ballot. We've talked about the impact to programs. And I would say collectively, we're kind of here talking about the April ballot because the impact to the programs was going to be significant based upon the school's budgeting process. So that's the backdrop. Carol, I'm going to hand it over to you. I'm going to turn my mic off, and if you want to turn yours on.
Here, sorry.
Are there paper copies? We can't see that.
There are not, but if you
How
hop
about
on
Zoom?
Zoom and turn.
Will do.
Okay,
Maybe you can make it bigger.
Yeah, Carol, can you zoom in?
yes, I just want the echo.
Okay, try talking again.
Hello,
Okay.
so let's see what works here. I mean, there's a lot of pieces to this budget. As soon as I stop hearing an echo,
Yeah, you have a phone that's connected.
I think, okay, I'm the only, no, Kern is talking. Okay, so hopefully you can see some of this or enough of it. So this is the budget we've come up with. Before I get into it, you'll probably notice if you had paid attention to the last budget in early February, that this is a slightly different format because we've now adopted the BARS formatting, which stands for what, Jenny?
Oh, I knew you were gonna say. Budgeting, accounting, reporting systems.
There you go. So I think the Parks and Rec are legally required to do it in this format. It gives us these numbers which correspond to different line items. So we've redone it here. I think the line items are more or less the same. They're just in a different order. So now that I've told you that, I'm just going to hide this column because we don't need to look at it. So there's 4 scenarios here. This first one here is the working budget. That is more or less the same as the early February budget with some modifications. The next 3 are various levels of reducing the costs. The second and third one focus on reducing the cost of youth programming. And I'm losing my words, and partnering with Family Resource Center or contracting with Family Resource Center to provide those services. And the last option really just focuses on school athletics only. So I think the idea is to go through these.
Do you want to? I mean, one thing to point out is that the reduced business operations
This guy.
takes the youth out of school programming and puts it in a different line item. So
Right, so in the first option, the personnel for youth activities is listed here and here and here. And well, it's actually just, it's just taken out, actually.
now it's down at the bottom.
Right, so this service contract with LIFRC.
Yeah, and I'll just take a minute to say, here we are in the beautiful Family Resource Building with Family Resource staff. And the conversation we're having is Lopez Rec is a funding question. We know that youth activities and programming are facing a big funding change with that 21st Century Grant going away. And Lopez Rec has an opportunity through a levy to provide stable funding for that. Now, how that happens is a long conversation between us, always aimed at, maximizing the benefit to the community and with the goals of really supporting our youth. So that remains in the future. There is a legal mechanism for a park and recreation contracting with a nonprofit entity to provide services on their behalf. So when we use the term contracted services, that's what we're talking about. If we were going to create a contract between the Family Resource Center and Lopez Rec to provide youth programming, that's the term we're using. Just like we use the term with the school district of the interlocal agreement. It's too complicated. So different legal terms, and that's what we use. So that's the backdrop for that.
We can't see what's at the top to know what the columns are for.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I
Jenny,
The top
Working
rows.
budget.
can
excuse me, can I interrupt for a moment? Can anybody message Kerm Taylor? His sound is coming through.
Can't hear what Liz said.
That was my phone turn.
Oh, that didn't work.
Turn it off.
Well, I know, I think.
Oh, it's the wrong row.
I think you
I've
had,
got it all the
yeah,
way
it's not
down.
just the top row, you need the.
Turn it off.
Lynn, do you want to mute for a second here?
Yep. How do I do that?
There's click your mute button.
Oh,
Okay. Lynn?
Yes.
I'm sorry, guys.
You might have to get your mute on your mic. Okay. Just pop that out.
So the problem that I am having is a technical one. Kerm Taylor is coming through on the audio. And so you are reverberating. It's hard to understand you. So I'm hoping that Kerm hears this and mutes himself. Thank you. Looks like it's done.
But you have to turn things on that.
Okay, I'm on.
We're going to go through each of these columns.
You need to turn off. Okay.
You know that, well, you also need to mute.
So at the very bottom.
Okay, so now the top row is frozen, so we can go through this and you can compare. I think the question was, are we going to go through each one line by line?
That being more part of our levy discussion, but we've changed around our agenda a lot. So I mean, there is kind of the working budget where we've already made some pretty significant changes
Right.
to the original vision, and maybe if you want to just kind of slowly go down through that.
Yeah, I can.
I think, what seems to be, I don't feel like we have to go line by line and each one. But if you could give an overview of what focus on school sports is, which I think you said is just paying for school sports. And then maybe highlight what the dollar is, reducing it and highlight them. And then we can, because there's two philosophical differences. Either we're contracting and small and doing a interlocal agreement, or we're doing the working budget, which is doing a Parks and Recreation district as a typical Park and Recreation district with staff and stuff. So I think that's, to me, what the commissioners have to vote on is what do we want to pick philosophy wise, philosophically.
Yeah.
That's kind of, and so from your standpoint is if you can just kind of give a quick synopsis of it, and then we can talk some more about what the
It would help,
philosophy is.
it would help to know what the tax rates are with everything too. There's
Yeah.
not up there.
You mean the
Some
levy
law-
rate? The levy rate is on the very bottom. So there's a levy rate for each of these options. I guess I could freeze the bottom row, but
Yeah.
yeah. So
So we can see the category for that.
okay.
I don't know if we wanna, there is also a big overview too in the visual format, if you wanna see that as the starting point, and then we can drill down into the details. If that.
Yeah, I'm not, for me, it's like, it's not talking about the dollars yet, it's more about what
Yeah.
philosophy do we want to adopt, let's make it, because when we get down to the dollars, it's gonna take a lot of discussion.
Right.
And I want to save more time for that.
Hold on, Carol. Yeah, no, I agree. We do have a discussion where as commissioners, we're reflecting on this information, but that's more in our levy discussion. Here's just the presentation of it, which the commissioners had ahead of this meeting as well, but first kind of, Carol, if you want to just.
Yeah. Okay, so as an overview, this first working budget option provides $180,000 to the Lopez Island School District for youth athletics, and it funds, I believe, the equivalent of what the Family Resource Center is currently doing for after-school and summer activities. In this scenario, the Parks and Rec has a full-time employee. Oh, actually, we did change it. Yes, a 32-hour employee who manages the activities or whatever else needs to be managed. And I'm just going to mention that in this scenario, the Parks and Rec District could manage the youth activities on their own, but they could still also contract out to the Family Resource Center. You could do it either way. So, but there is the budget for the employee, for the personnel, and there's budget for things like registration software, which you would need if you were running programming on your own. And what else am I missing here? And I think also another thing that got added in here was youth sports, teens, and special events. This is new to me, so I'm not quite sure what that is.
That's additional programming for youth, including K-5 sports, some special programming for teens and some special events. It also is reflected on revenue.
Right.
So
here we go. These numbers here.
Yeah. So there's a youth recreation revenue that offsets that too. But that again widens the programming of youth that we can offer to our community. So including K-5 sports. I mean, it's not a significant add to the budget overall because it is offset with revenue.
Exactly.
But it does add some stable funding for those things, which have been a little lacking or inconsistent over time. So it would create some stability for that.
So that option, that levy rate is 22 cents, which is a pretty significant drop from 37 cents. Yeah. Okay, shall I go on with the other options?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me see if I can get this straight. The second option sees a reduced personnel for the Rex district, so a 20-hour work week instead of a 32-hour work week. And it sees the Lopez Rec contracting all the youth services to the Family Resource Center. And that's reflected here with this number, $131,735. That is specifically for youth activities. And so the assumption is that the Family Resource Center is running those activities. They're seeing the revenue from those activities. And because of that, it reduces the cost for Parks and Rec because they don't need things like registration software or what else am I missing here? Well, there's other things, like, yeah. It's just, it's a reduction, yeah.
It's a reduction in programming too.
Right, it leaves out this programming that was added in here for after-school youth sports and teens. And
And some things, remain the same throughout, because no matter how you do it, we do have business operations that we're legally obligated to.
right,
For example, some of the levy costs are built into what we have to do, because in 2 years, in 2027, we'll have 2 commissioners up for election, and that's required by law. And we have to bear our portion of that levy. We also have included some of that, putting a levy on the ballot, although we're hopeful to fundraise for that for April.
right. That's
And it includes the 2029 ballot costs for 3 more commissioners who will be up for election. So, in addition to that, we have these state auditor fees.
yep,
We've gone a little bit around and around, but every 3 years we get audited. It's around 5,000 each. We did take a look at Orcus, and theirs was particularly high. In 1 year, it was 10,000, but it was because they had received a federal grant that triggered additional oversight. So,
and then there's insurance, which is, just a requirement that
Yeah, so that's reduced as
Yeah.
well, yeah.
minimum of kind of 5,000.
Yeah.
And then if you have additional employees, or there's no vision up here to own physical resources, but that would increase costs as to employees.
right. Yeah, this vision also doesn't include any capital expenses, which the working budget does.
It's been, the working budget's been significant.
Yeah.
And Kit's gonna have something to say about it.
Yeah, is it okay if I explain the rationale for that? So if this scenario focuses on just the Family Resource Center and the contract with the school, the thinking is that through the interlocal agreement, then for the Family Resource Center, yeah, we do not foresee any capital expenses for the organization, and for the school, because my understanding is that the levy for capital investment is not subject to a levy lid, and that's why we thought that capital expenses, would be more straightforward if the school were to raise its own capital, raise its own tax dollars for its own improvement.
It's kind of confusing 2 different things, though. I mean, the capital in this case is just the community resources investing,
Right.
so it's not school specific.
No, yeah, but because the focus is just on, so the rationale for the second scenario is like, okay, we really want to focus on the essentials, and those are the, supporting the youth, and supporting the school. And because we know, that we want to move some voters from, no to yes, and therefore, and then we do some feedback from that.
But there's costs to that, so, that's what we'll debate. Let's go on to the next.
Okay, so the next scenario is really very similar to, this one is called reduced operations and youth programming cost sharing.
Oh, yeah.
What happened?
We're moving over to the next.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on this column here.
The rating
For the.
So the rate, it was 18. This one, the rate is 14, rounded up. And sorry about the, oh, it is frozen. They're really very similar. One difference is that instead of a 20-hour work week, the rec employee is now 33% time, which is, so that reduces it by about $15,000. So again, there's an employee for the Parks and Rec district. So it's just reducing how much time he's working.
But another thing to consider is additional reduced operations. And in this one specifically, there's reduced funding for youth programs.
So the assumption going into this is that, so the first one and the second one, have a net expenditure, have the same net expenditure for the after school and summer workshop programs. But one is, the first one done in-house by Lopez Rec or could be contracted out. The second scenario is just contracted through services contract. But the third one,
This
same
number.
model, except that instead of assuming the same, instead of assuming the 131, we assume that there would be cost sharing. So Lopez Rec would provide 50% of the funding with the understanding that the remaining fund, the Family Resource Center would have using this as a stable source of funding to leverage other, other grants and so on.
There's lots of assumptions on who would do what, but Locust Rec would be providing less funding.
Excuse me, could Amanda Slattery please mute themselves?
Oh,
Can you?
Amanda Slattery, her.
She take care of it.
Yes.
Thank you.
With the employee hours, it said 33%. Is that the assumption that it's 33% of the hours they would have worked in the first working day? That's the part-time 33% instead of full-time. I'm not, what was that like?
It just,
Hours, 12 hours?
it's 30%, 33% of a full-time week, of a 40-hour week.
Okay.
And the numbers, the other significant number is the number that we would be contracting with Family Resource Center, and that is $65,000. It's about half, yeah.
And then the last one.
And the last one is focused exclusively on school athletics. So it does not focus, there's no funding for youth activities at all in this scenario. And the employee is now a 25% employee, full-time. And this rate is at 10 cents. But we are just not entirely sure that this is actually legal for us, for them to do.
But caveat, has really be spoken to. It has been talked about in the community. So we're talking about it here, but a shadow levy of that sort seems. But that's another conversation to have, but we just want the presentation of that to understand that the legality of that has not been established.
Also, I just want to add to that, we did learn, in our visit there with the Island Rec that they operated the first 10 something years, just focusing on children, and then 17 years on children and youth. And then they did not start doing adult recreation until year 18.
That was 40 years ago too. 40 years ago. Parks and Recreation was just getting it started. So it's relevant but limited. So what I think it makes sense, because we really need to spend time on the budget. And my suggestion for the board is that we talk about these, I discount the scenario, just playing school sports. So the three scenarios, and it's really two scenarios, it's just one's reduced. So the scenario of a Parks and Recreation district that runs and operates its programs, has staff, it has the ability to expand programs and typical park and recreation, which is the working budget, or one that we have an interlocal agreement and contract services. The contract services in each one of those are really the issue. The contract services with the resource center is that one's a little bit more money for them and one's a little bit less. So that's what I would recommend, that we talk about those differences and we come up with a preferred alternative for the board. And then we vote on that and then we move in that direction.
Yeah, that will be part of our levy discussion that segues into the resolution, which is the consideration to place a levy on the ballot.
And I have information about that for the public comment period.
Okay. So, in general, there's lots of things we've considered. The working budget is a significant step at streamlining and reductions of, you know, the November vision of it. A lot of compromises, a lot of sharpening of pencils, however that translates into Excel spreadsheet. But here we are with that information. Thank you, Carol, for walking us through that. I think at this juncture, we put public comment.
And another thing that we did as a public committee, before we move on to another item, is that we did seek out public comment.
Well, we sought out, not public comment, we sought out feedback.
Okay, yes. So as a budget committee, we also just want to briefly touch on, do you want to pull that up so it's on the screen?
That's here. Is that here?
Yes, is the.
Oh, it's this.
Yeah.
Why can I not scroll my screen down? Sorry. Sorry, guys. You can see it. Okay.
Can you maybe do like a slideshow or something? So that, because the text is a bit hard to see on the screens.
Can I do a slideshow?
Yeah.
I think that's fine.
That's a good question.
Yeah. Yeah, and just as a backdrop, around 1,600 voters voted in the November election. It was split roughly 50-50. Of the 800 or so who voted no, we asked the question, if you voted no, why do you what would change your answer?
Yes, because
and we had around 40 responders.
Yeah.
So less than 5%, and it is not randomized. So
No.
I really would like that
Not
to be a backdrop of,
Not representative, not randomized.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
It's not reliable at all.
No, it's not.
40 people?
About 40 people.
Yeah.
total.
So I mean, we do thank the community. We put out a questionnaire and we got back some responses. We just need to be mindful that it's not representational, but it is, when we
But
ask
it's,
for responses and we give it, we're
But
thankful that.
yeah, but we, this was basically the main outreach, I guess, that we did as a commission to hear from no voters, because we need to move some no voters. We need to reach that 60% threshold and hopefully more to indicate, broad-based community support for the levy amount. Anyway, so we wanted to understand, like, okay, what would move people to switch from a no camp to a yes camp? And so we solicited some comments and then we received, so the other results, look on the left-hand side first. So we received some people who voted yes, some people who voted no, and they said that nothing would move me from a no vote. So that's the red bar. And then there are, among the sample that we got, the majority actually were in the yellow camp, which is like, okay, I could be convinced to move from no to yes if blah, 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 and that's the graph on the right-hand side.
So I wanna clarify,
Yeah.
like, as a commissioner, as a citizen, I had no idea this was a survey. So I don't know how it was advertised or talked about, because I've been to every meeting and I realized you did it.
The message board.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't see it, so my point is, the random sampling is pretty limited.
Yes, and that's why I had prefaced with, we need to be mindful that this is not a random sample and it's only less than 5% of the people that voted up. So
Yeah.
it gave us information, but how representative of the future that is, I think we all know enough about statistics to know that it's not. So I would say thank you to those that provided input, and
Is it okay? I just finished the little bit on the right hand side, just so people can see what feedback we did receive from the people in the yellow camp. Some people said that, okay, I would only vote yes if it focuses on the school, or if it's 10 cents, or if it's bare bones or minimum or whatever. So that's, the bar on the left hand side, the blue bar on the left. And then the next group would be people who said that, okay, I would vote yes if I see 50 or 60% reductions. If it only focus on youth, or obviously partial subsidization of the school or the youth programs.
And again, that's 6 people, correct?
Yes.
And can people choose multiple answers here? Cause the numbers
Yeah.
now.
it wasn't tabulated like that. It was open-ended questions. We have a lot more outreach to do in our community. We need to be very clear that it's a fine graph, but it's not, it shows us something, but it's only.
But just to finish, and one person did say that they would vote yes if it's all ages, not just school sports. And we did have a lot of comments, and some people, would be in one of the first 3, and also said that, they would be willing to vote yes if there's more time, or if there's more information available, or more community input or clarity. Anyway, just wanted to report back and communicate to the community that for the input that we received, we did consider.
Well, that's just an example, we need more.
We do need more,
Oh,
but we
stop
also have to
sharing.
make a decision.
Make it,
Yeah.
Okay,
put it down.
so thank you for that. Budget committee has done our budgeting. And now I will move us on to, we have put our public comment next.
Take the list.
Yeah, I have something to read.
I can find a pen.
Okay, it's telling me to do all sorts of things before I do. Lynn, can you hear me now?
Nope, yes, I can. Now I'm unmuted.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so those folks who are here for.
Yeah, I need to read my little,
Oh,
my,
that's right.
yes, thank you. Public comment. The Lopez Park and Recreation District welcomes public comment in a fair and orderly manner consistent with Washington's Open Public Meetings Act. Speakers may comment orally or in writing, including remotely when accommodations are requested. To ensure everyone has an equal opportunity, speakers are limited to 3 minutes, and the overall comment period may be time limited. Comments should be respectful and non-disruptive. Public comment is intended to inform the board. Board members will not respond during the comment period, though the chair may provide brief factual information if appropriate. Lack of response does not indicate agreement or disagreement. Comments may be referred for future consideration, staff follow-up, or written response. Thank you. And we have the notebook method of raise your hand and Brady will write it down if you would like to provide public comment.
Okay, let's see.
Thank you.
Barb, Martha, Doug.
No.
Oh, I thought. Oh, okay. Dan, Asa, Judith, Beth, Lorna. You had something to read?
She read it.
Oh, I thought you had written comments.
Is there
Okay,
anybody
sorry.
on,
Got you, got you.
on
Anyone else
Zoom-
for public
Zoom-
comment?
Zoomers?
Megan, was that a?
Just put her down.
I don't know how to, I don't know, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, scanning the room one last time, we have. Okay, all right. We're ready to start, and Barb, you're up first. Yeah, 3
I got it,
minutes.
I got it.
Your timing?
Yeah,
Okay, great.
help you.
Read it. LFC strongly supports the Lopez rec levy. We believe that we need more than the 10 cents so that we can meet all essential community needs, particularly at the school and summer camps, so that they can go on without disruption to maintain high quality programs that are adequately staffed for the kids on our island. We do believe it's best to have LFC and the Lopez rec work together over the next 3 to 5 years to really figure out what's the best strategy moving forward. And there's a number of reasons that I'll explain now. I think this will allow us to find time to figure out the most effective way. For example, you know, that like you've already mentioned, there's some costs that LFC has to bear no matter what. And so we could avoid duplication in the beginning. It would save some costs, but I think what I really want to clarify is that our 21st century grant that we have now actually funds us at $333,000 per year. So that's it'll be almost $1.7 million over the 5 years. And we typically have to fundraise at least 20 and lately up to $50,000 above that. So we're talking a good like $380,000 a year to do this. You know, we've been looking because of the park, our grant ends in August 2027. So we, as our staff, have been really looking at, okay, how could we still provide a serious essential programs, especially for K through 6, at a lower budget of like 200,000. And I think one reason why for LFRC to continue is the 21st century grants are renewable, but it's extremely competitive and we'll never get another $333,000 grant. So having some money from Parks and Recs allows us to show that we have a community match and we could potentially, if we're lucky, get another 5-year grant. It would be much lower, and that maybe that combined together with the Parks and Rec levy would really let us to continue doing this. Believe it or not, in 2022, when we wrote the grant, we had written that Parks and Levy was gonna come to place, and that was how we were gonna sustain it. And obviously, you know, someday with higher tax levels, I have no doubt that's possible. And just again, LFRC is in a good position to both write the grants, like the Parks and Rec could not pursue a grant, because we had 20 years of experience of doing summer camps, which what got us that grant in the first place. So it would be essential that LFRC would apply again, and then is just in a capacity to do the fundraising. So just want to urge, you know, the community to consider it. Like, it's really vital, actually. For all as big as San Juan and as all the money, our program
30
serves
seconds.
almost as many kids as San Juan does. And it's so vital because it's kids and families who don't have other places for their kids to, because they don't do sports, you know, whatever. And, you know, particularly lately with our expansion to kids with disabilities, it's a really vital need that this community needs. So just really encourage people to look beyond and recognize there's a lot of other kids that need resources beyond sports. Sports are super important, but no.
Thank you, Barbara.
Hey, I'm going to, can you identify yourself? Because we're no longer projecting to those on Zoom. So when you go, say your name and anything else you want to say to identify
Okay.
yourself.
And I'm the director here at the Lopez and Family Resource Center.
Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you, Barbara.
Next up is Martha.
Can I come sit in one of those chairs so I can face you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Martha Martin, K-12 principal, Lopez Island School District. Hi. Well, I'm coming tonight to speak in support of this being in front of voters on the April ballot. And there are many reasons for that, but I'm here to tell you the details of one of those reasons. And that is all of the pre-planning that is required for a sports season. So in addition to hiring coaches, forming teams, planning practices, making sure athletes have all their forms and their sports physicals, we start really early, and we are beholden to WIAA rules and regulations. And we have to communicate with all the other schools and districts in our league. So in the spring, so right around now, we are already, or we need to be in communication with all of the schools in our league to start planning competition for next year. The where, the when, the what time. And then June is a very important month. So in June, we have to declare to the WIAA what sports we are participating in as a district for the next school year. Also in June, we have to pay our league dues and our WIAA dues. We also have to pay a bill from the WOA, which is the officials association, and that bill is based on what our needs were last school year, and it gets adjusted if we need more or less, official support for games. There's one other thing. Oh, that's what you said. 30 seconds. There's one other really important thing about the month of June. So there's a rule that if you are a student and you're a student athlete and you want to transfer to another school so that you can play athletics, you cannot play that sport. The sport, if it's offered in your originating district, you can't play it as a varsity athlete for 1 year. The exception to that is if your school doesn't offer that sport anymore. But you have to declare that, you have to request that transfer as an athlete to play for another school district in June. And not even the whole month of June, but a really small window in the month of June. So if these things happen in June, this is not as simple as, oh, we got some money, somebody made a donation, so we can increase the teacher's FTE and offer a new a class or a club or a program. This is a lot of coordination, and our students really deserve to know. And that's why it's really important that that we know all of this information really early. If somebody writes us a check, for the entire amount of, I don't know.
Not during public comment, unfortunately.
Thank you, Martha.
Thank you, Martha. Dan Post, you're up next.
Yeah, Dan Post here. You guys on the board know where I'm stand, so I'm not gonna repeat what I've done in previous meetings. But I think you shouldn't rule out number 4 and, just toss it out without even thinking about it. And I wish you had done policies, a couple months ago, especially a conflict of interest policy. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Dan.
All right. Good for timing. Okay. Asa, you're up next.
Asa Kinney, father in the community and the chair of the Family Resource Center. And I want to really talk about the importance of a good foundational budget. Because this is the beginning of this program. Foundation is where we're going to build everything else off of this. And if we start out in a place that barely covers just the basic necessities of the youth of this community, it's gonna be a lot harder to build from there than it will be if we start from a position that is not just looking at the youth after school programs and the sports programs, but also looking at Parks and Rec as a branch out of Lopez's community itself, offering services for the young adults in our community who don't have a lot of other like kind of third spaces to be, retired community members who just want to hang out with friends and maybe do something outside of a gym or something like that that's a little more sports oriented. So just really pushing to the importance of looking for a budget that does allow for growth because it starts with a strong foundation that is community minded. And then also to Martha's point, the importance of passing this levy on the April ballot so that the school sports programs can continue uninterrupted into the next school year and beyond. That's all my time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Asa.
Next up is Judith.
Hey, I'm Judith Miller. I'm a mother of 2 kids at school and I help with the rally for the week.
Part-time hearing.
So part-time hearing. Okay. Do you want me to repeat that?
No.
Okay. Firstly, I just want to say thank you. I know how much work is required in this and thank you on all of you guys. I wasn't planning on speaking, but just listening to the talking through the budget, I just, something that struck me is that it's all very well to like say, yeah, we can reduce costs and reduce, you know, how much we pay people and how many hours they work. And it's very attractive to be able to offer that, but I think we just need to be really careful that we don't set ourselves up for failure by setting the rate too low and not actually being able to like fulfill the things for the community, which, you know, is not actually putting money to good use if it's not successful. And I think that when we set that levy amount and look at the budget, we need to also remember that you can't go back to the voters with a levy rate for 6 years. So it's like, okay, you want to pay someone $45 an hour, but are they still going to be happy getting $45 an hour in 6 years? You know, you have to like, that has to be baked into that budget. And so I think with that, the more you get bare bones, the more you're in danger of like not actually having something that even is sustainable over the 6 years. So that I think is a concern. You know, how much is insurance going to be in 6? Like all of those things you have to think about the time until you go back to the voters. Even though I have 2 student athletes, I really strongly disagree with only funding sports because I think all youth, whether they're athletes or not, deserve to have programming. And I think there needs to be a lot more outreach to the community. I felt like the survey was honestly not a good survey. I didn't feel like that data was useful. I didn't feel like the outreach, like I didn't hear about it. It was
30 seconds.
Yeah. Anyway, I just feel like there needs to be more outreach and more kind of unified across the group because it feels like there's different things going on and that's confusing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judith.
Judith?
Good to see you.
Beth, you're next.
2 things. I'm Beth Andrews. I wanted to see, I think there was a summary on the options graph that we didn't get to. Is that something we can pull up? That's number 1. And 2, I'm for recreation and definitely school sports. What worries me is we're not going to get any of it because there's the 35 cents the county is putting up for their lift. Taxpayers agreed to the 27 cents last year for the 2 levies here. If this levy is for 22 cents, and then I believe there will be a school levy of maybe 20 cents. I'm afraid people will vote no, period, because property taxpayers are gonna look at this large number for somebody that has $1 million property. It could raise it maybe $900 a year total between what we've asked for, what we got in 25, and then if everything passes in 26.
And just to clarify, you're putting other levies into that, not just the one.
Yes, because what I'm afraid of is people are gonna look at the cumulative levy amount and $900 a month, so I'm paying nothing. No. I would rather see, because I'm for the youth. I'd rather see asking for less and getting it, like maybe the 3rd tier, not the 10 cents, the other one. So at least there's something, and then if it's possible, come back in a couple years and raise it up. I would like to see it pass. Something pass. That's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Beth.
Beth.
Lorna?
Can I ask a question first?
You identify yourself or?
Owner Reese Lopez, I was a resident for over 30 years, full time. So I wouldn't, because I don't have a copy of that budget you passed out, which I think is a real oversight. You can have that available for us to look at.
I'll pay for it next meeting.
Yeah, anyway, thank you. But so I didn't know what are the levy rates were at the bottom, what were they? For the different 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Carol, do you have it up still?
We'll just come back to it, but we'll
And
take note of
sorry.
your public comment,
Yeah.
but go ahead.
22, 18, 14, and 11.
What about 29?
Close to it.
For 22.
I'm just gonna keep your public comments, your public comment though, and if we want to come back to it in the meeting, yeah.
What?
Just continue with your public comment, please.
Well, I'm kind of with Beth here. My concern is really that, if the ask is too high. That people won't go for it. I'm for school sports. I contributed to the local education fund. I like. I voted yes for every single school levy, and I probably will continue to do that because I really believe in our school. And our kids and our future. But I'm really also concerned about all the older people on the island and the people who are on fixed incomes. Who are having really suffering with not just this, levy that was publicized to begin with, but with others that are coming out. So kids are important, but so are, so are other people in our community. That's my, there it is.
It is, but yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
I
So
place.
that part of the
that's-
agenda is.
Okay,
is
sorry,
passed.
okay.
That would be something
Yeah,
that we
okay,
would
we'll do it
agree
later.
to
Yeah,
as a
okay.
commission if
Can
we
you just
agree to
read
do
it up
it.
though, just so that
As
we
a
can
commission.
look at it?
We'll
We
come
can
back to that
talk.
later. We're in our public comment period, so
Somebody
I
could
just
have it up on the screen.
I would like to move on to our next person for public comment, who is,
That would be Megan.
okay. Go ahead, Megan.
So this is Megan McLean. I am a parent. I'm a business person on the island, a full-time resident. And I have stated previously that I strongly support that we move this forward as quickly as possible. I am deeply concerned about the impact of dropping enrollments at the school. I think if we do not address the sports issue and youth programs in general, we are looking at plummeting enrollment at the school, which is going to place the school in a very precarious position. I think voters need to start thinking about what that means for our community. A community that does not have a secondary school is going to be a very, very different community. And I think a lot of people are not going to like what that looks like. I think there are deep, deep implications for our economy, for the cost of living. People are concerned about expenses, I get it. But I don't think that not having a secondary is going to solve any of those problems. And I hope that people will start to connect those dots about what it means.
Thank you, Megan.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else on our list?
That's it.
And did you ask people on Zoom if anyone wanted to?
If you're on Zoom and you would like to provide public comment, you can raise your hand. I don't see that there.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you for your public comment, everyone. We can now move on in our agenda. We have our bylaws, which we're switching it all up, so this is different for me. But let's look at our bylaws. We had a first read of it on Monday. Time flies. I was in a different state then. And here we are now looking at these bylaws. We have done a regular or a first reading of them. So would a commissioner like to move to approve these bylaws?
I so move.
I'll second that.
Okay, so Brady moves and Kit seconds. Is there any further discussion on
Yeah, there's
these bylaws?
some changes, like number 3. I would like to propose that we remove the word during a 2-year term. It could be my English, but I'm reading that we don't need the word during, in the last sentence. So except that the initial commissioner number 4 and initial commissioner number 5 shall serve a 2-year term.
This language is from San Juan County. The language under number 3, including the during, is language straight from the San Juan County website. I understand it's awkward. It reads awkwardly to me as well. But it was lifted straight from the county website. That's what it appears twice.
Well, yeah, okay, if you like to leave it, I have no problem.
I mean, it is, there's an asterisk showing its source, so I think if we were to change it, we would have to go back in and change the source.
No, this is just I'm not questioning the source. I'm just saying that it would read better. It just says that that the initial commissioners will serve a 2-year term. But if you would like to leave it, that's fine by me.
Okay.
And I would like to propose that we actually add just below that, in the event, I'll try to be slow and I can share the text too, the suggested text. In the event of a vacancy in the position of a commissioner
Sorry, which number are we talking?
Number 3.
Number 3, okay.
Yeah, so to right after the end, in the event of a vacancy in the position of a commissioner by death, written resignation, or otherwise, such vacancy shall be filled pursuant to RCW 42.12 and RCW 36.69. This is just to in the event that we have a resignation or whatever. This is also lifted from a document from Parks and Rec template bylaws. I thought that was a useful thing to add.
What are the RCWs again?
It's 42.12 and 36.69. Would it mean
36.69 has several subchapters though, right? Is there a subchapter?
It's to do with the commissioners.
3669 is the RCW for all park and recreation districts. So it includes every one of the RCWs that govern parks and rec districts.
So are you saying maybe I should be more specific?
Yes.
There are very specific laws that direct us and how to.
Yeah, okay, then it's dot 100, sorry.
Which references 42.12.
Yeah, that is broader about like what happens when people resign or what happens when there's a death, or there are also like removal in case like some commissioner is voted out or something like that.
Understood. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have language to suggest for the bylaws? Because I mean, basically you're just saying
that's
the bylaw. Sorry, can you read it again then so we can get it
in the event of a vacancy in the position of a commissioner by death, written resignation, or otherwise, such vacancy shall be filled pursuant to RCW 42.12 and RCW 36.69.100.
Brady, are you specifically looking at those? Because
I am.
Mm.
I mean, it's adding a bylaw amendment that says we'll follow the law, which is fine with me. I mean, it should be fine with all of us.
Well, whether or not we add it, we're beholden to it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's again, I'm not pushing back on it, but it is, it is saying we will do it according to the law, which is what we are bound to do regardless.
Right. I mean, the whole thing is like that, right?
Most of it. I mean, we
bylaw,
contextualize some of it, if you
Right.
recall. But
Mhm.
yeah, I'm okay. So Lynn, did you get that language in as
I
secretary?
can
I guess
paste
Lynn might.
into,
Can you
You
state,
can't paste into the document that we've been using, just so you know, because
where
it's,
should I paste them?
well, the
Email?
secretary. Tell me we finish.
Oh,
The
okay.
secretary should take it down. That's
Okay.
how it works in officer positions. So I'm checking with Lynn to see if she took it down. And because is someone screen sharing?
I am,
But it's not up there.
not
So
blocked.
do you want to go up there?
if you want to give me the HDMI cable.
And
Although-
I can't.
Do you want me to read what I got down and then you correct what I didn't get down?
see
If you,
Lynn,
you
so
can
is
do
Lynn-
it too, Joan. Oh, sure.
Lynn,
Yes.
and did you get the language that Chom offered?
So
I did not get all of it, so I was wondering if,
No.
Repeat it one more time.
if you want me, sure.
Can you do it?
Yeah, I wonder if there's a way for me to also, I can email it to you. Would that be helpful?
Sure, I can put it in after the meeting.
Okay, yeah, I'll share with you the whole.
But could
document.
you read it one more time?
Yeah,
for
one more
record?
time.
And that would change the numbering on all of it too.
No need.
I think it's a subset of
Just a
number
subset,
three.
just
right?
like the second
Of number
clause
3 or?
of
Yeah.
number 3, yeah, the second clause. In the event of a vacancy in the position of a commissioner by death, written resignation, or otherwise, such vacancy shall be filled pursuant to RCW 42.12 and RCW 3669 100. And then, sorry, I have more. Number, this is something, I'm not sure where it fits, but it could go below number 5. I call this one operating principle. Commissioners shall, one, be clear when speaking for the commission versus as an individual. Dot number 2, work collaboratively with other commission members and agency staff on decision making. 3, the third dot, represent all constituents, not just those from a particular area of special interest. 4, or fourth dot, serve actively on commission committees after accepting an appointment. Fifth dot, keep other commission members informed on individual activities of commission business. Next one, not engage in any activity which gives rise to a conflict of interest or appearance of conflict of interest as a commission member. Should a conflict of interest arise, any member should recuse themselves. And last one, expeditiously respond to requests and messages from commission members and agency staff regarding commission business.
Mm-hmm. So I would say that's a very big addition to bring right now. Some of those are covered by law. Some of them, I don't substantially have objection to them, but they are very big additions. Would you be willing to table that until our next regularly scheduled meeting and we can put it on the agenda for an addition to our bylaws? That's a lot to capture in a
second read.
Could we, instead of putting it into the bylaws, could we put that into the policies that we have discussed we will be creating as we go along?
That would be a great policy
Yeah, I like that.
development.
I like that. That makes sense.
I just felt bad for not commenting on this on the first read, partly because I just didn't have enough time to respond when I only had 3 hours to review before the meeting last time. I do feel though that this is if we want to pass a levy that's more than a bare minimum, I feel we should also do more than the bare minimum in terms of the governance of in terms of how we operate. We want to not just meet the minimum legal requirements, but actually show that we do care about working well, working to serve all community, all segments of the community, that we value community inputs. I don't know, I just feel like these are all, like what you said, common sense, and so I think
I think it fits in policy better, my thinking, and the other thing I'm a little concerned about is time, because we do have a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah, we do.
And
We do.
this is not as important.
It's a process for making amendments to the bylaws. I mean, the bylaws are the reason, there's a reason why the word law is in there. So
Right.
they do differ from policies. We're already beholden to the laws. This clarifies the laws and offers a little more specificity to them.
I also feel like we've demonstrated with special meetings since the election, with joining subcommittees, with conversations that we've had, that we are doing those things currently. I think that adding them to the bylaws operates under an assumption that we won't do those things and need to have them be formalized for us to do those things. I disagree with that. But I also think if we want, as a commission, to have those exist somewhere, they are policy, not bylaw.
Yeah, and can I add just one thing as a thing member? I would really have a lawyer check them if you're adding to your bylaws, because I think it adds a whole level of liability to the.
Technically, you can't add anything
You
to
would-
the comments at this point, Barb.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Yeah, I know. I mean, this is a a first step that aligns our bylaws with existing laws. So adding big changes right now, I think the first step is to pass the bylaws, and then if we want to bring it back on regularly scheduled meetings for additional clarification on policies and even amendments to the bylaws where we have more time for due process on them.
Well, this was taken from, Washington Parks and Rec website, and is in sample documents that's but this is at the state level, but it's bylaws. I wonder then if we need to rush to adopt it, because I do have even more than that.
Yeah.
Let's adopt with few revisions, and then bring it back at our next regularly scheduled meeting for consideration of additions. We can do a first reading of considerations for additional bylaws, and then vote on it after that.
Sean, do you have I'm sorry, I've gone blank. Do you have a disagreement with having that verbiage in our practice? I'm sorry.
Policies.
Thank you. Knew it started with a P. Sorry. In our policies rather than the bylaws. We still would live by those. I don't think anybody's disagreeing that we shouldn't be doing those things. And as Brady said, we have been doing those things. So I'm just wondering what you feel we need to put it in the bylaws instead of the policies.
I actually do not even care where it is, because I know that, we're supposed to adopt policies as commissioners, and I just want to, communicate to the community that we can be entrusted with taxpayers' money, and therefore we aim to have governance framework that is transparent, that values public input, that aims to serve our constituents, that we will conduct ourselves in a professional manner with no conflict of interest, and so on and so forth. And my ideal, order of things would be to have all those in place, not just bylaw that basically says that we will just follow the laws.
Well, we've only met we're only 2 months old. I mean,
I know.
So be patient. You're a little patient.
I know,
yeah,
but
so-
at the same time, we also, because we know, I know that we have this timeline to meet, the needs of the school.
Well, the priority, I mean, really the funding, without funding, we're like a boat without a motor, and that's the biggest thing. What you're trying to do is good, and we all intend that way, but it could be written and we don't intend that way. We'll get there. Be patient. let's get this one done.
Let's get to then some smaller details that maybe we could discuss or consider. So for number 6, right now it says regular meetings, public meetings shall be conducted on the first Thursday of each month. At a time and place to be determined beforehand. Since we already agreed at 4 p.m., I believe, can we just say 4 p.m. just to reduce the uncertainties for people to have to find out?
These bylaws are go well.
So part of
Sure.
the
I just
problem, so-
I think I know what you're going to say, and I want you to say it, Lynn. But just really quickly, regular meeting dates are generally set at the beginning of each calendar year.
Right.
So even just putting in, the first Thursday of each month is very specific to have included in bylaws. So I would just say leaving the time and place to be determined allows flexibility for future iterations.
Yeah. Then can I say then to at a time and place to be determined and published in a calendar year or something, in a calendar that covers the whole year.
Which is, for the whole year?
Yeah, a lot of bylaws. I review a lot of bylaws of districts, and that's what they do. Anyway.
Yeah, well, and give
Which is what we've done. We've posted that
we're
to
moving,
Lopez
good,
Road.
good, two good examples. Trying to be quick, but two good examples. One is that we can't meet here next month for a monthly meeting because they're busy. So we got to move back to the library. And then there's a couple others that are that way. So we need that flexibility. And another one with the sewer district that I'm on that board, we asked before that at the end of the meeting, adjournment is like next meeting scheduled this day. We're all good. So we need that flexibility.
Okay, I think then how about this? To be notified at least 7 days in advance. Because I feel like
I don't like
with
that.
this is general meetings though, general meetings.
These are the monthly meetings.
Monthly meetings, yeah. Like if I can't notify 7 days in advance, that is so minimum because a lot of bylaws that I review is actually time, place, time and place for the whole
For
year.
districts that have a time and a place, we don't have a place.
No,
And we have a time
I
at
know,
4
we
o'clock
don't.
because you were in Thailand, not because that's what we all wanted to do was meet at 4 o'clock. So there's a few elements to that. The flexibility is good, but like we set that to accommodate a time difference.
We still meet at 5 today.
Right, so we have the flexibility to move. This is a special meeting anyway, but I mean, I don't think it's unreasonable. I just don't think it belongs in the bylaws.
Not even to be notified at least 7 days. I think that is
a policy for us to develop over time is how we address our meeting, how we conduct our meetings, how we post them, where they get posted to. I mean, again, we're getting our feet under us here. There's a lot of work to do. So again, I would just table that to future discussions.
Sure.
And in the meantime, we are bound by the 24-hour notice that the law dictates. So
right. And yes, I just want us to do more than just the bare minimum.
We all do.
Yeah.
We all do, but we'll get there. Be patient.
Okay, last one then. Okay, I mean I have a lot more, but I'll constrain myself to the special meeting. So right now it reads special meetings may be conducted from time to time and shall be conducted at all times pursuant to the spirit of the Open Public Meetings Act. I would like to suggest for it to read special meetings may be called by the chair or the majority of the Board of Commissioners and shall be conducted at all times, blah, 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 to keep the same. So just change from maybe conducted from time to time to maybe called, just more make it more specific about how it can happen. No, you don't think?
I think I think you're not hearing it that well enough. Let's get this passed and then we'll work on the policies because I think they're more policy driven and I hear you, but it's going to happen.
Special meetings so far have been approved by the board right at the meeting prior. So we've said we're going to have a special meeting.
Yeah, the guidance by MRSC says that special meetings is the kind of one exemption to the Open Public Meeting Act, and that we have to organize to make special meetings happen. Anyway, but we've given them notice and we've agreed on them thus far. But we are allowed to call a special meeting. Sometimes things come up and you need to call a special meeting. We're allowed to talk about that and identify a time and then go through the appropriate channel. But back to Kit's point, that's a good policy for us to develop in the future. We do have plenty of work ahead as a commission to develop policies, and having done a lot of policy development previously, it does take time and patience, and that was like
So can I call for the question so we can vote on this? Anything else?
Do you have any other kind of small additions that you?
I don't have anything small.
Okay. Can we table that for future and then put it on the regularly scheduled meeting of March? Although we're gonna have a lot to do then, to do maybe a first read of suggestions, and that might be for policies or additions to the bylaws.
I would like to see our energy put towards policies. That's what I'm thinking.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
I was gonna see at the last meeting, but I guess we got the bylaws instead. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a suggestion just thrown out to the group is that John and I could work on policies together and get this bylaws passed. Is that going to work for you?
Is that okay with you?
Me?
Yeah,
To-
because
to create a
you were
policy,
the,
so-
you were the
Well, it's going to take a
Sorry,
while to get the
I was the
policies.
what? Oh, bylaws committee? Well, yeah, I make a motion that we pass the bylaws as provided
Yeah,
and then support a subcommittee that develops policy. Sure.
I second that.
I might entertain the motion on the appointing the
Sure.
committee after we approve
Yes.
the
Yeah.
bylaws. So we do have one addition in the event of a vacancy, and Lynn has captured that language. So currently we
I have not captured yep. Chom said she would send me an email with all of the words because they were spoken too fast. I'm not a speed writer.
Okay. This is recorded too, and Chom will send them.
Right. Thank you.
So, and we did hear them. So we have a motion to approve the bylaws, a motion to amend with, in the event of a vacancy. Chom is sending that language to Lynn, and it is also captured on this recording. All in favor of approving the bylaws as amended, say aye.
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 Is it okay to abstain?
You can abstain.
Okay, I like to abstain.
And Lynn? The aye. So we have one member abstaining and the rest voting aye. Would you like to put forth your motion to appoint a policy subcommittee? Brady?
I make a motion to appoint a policy subcommittee,
Of?
2 commissioners.
Okay. I'll second that. Lynn, you catch that? So we have a policy subcommittee. We have a motion to appoint a policy subcommittee. I would nominate Chom and Kit to that. I would say in general, we need to move methodically and not too fast. We can only handle so many at a time.
That's right.
So,
I think give us
one or two at a time at our regularly scheduled meetings.
I think we'll shoot for coming back with a draft of something
Yes.
in April.
Yes. And we need 2 readings on those as well.
Yes.
So there's that.
We have a
any-
motion in a second.
Yeah. So all in favor of appointing a policy subcommittee?
Aye.
Aye.
I say aye. Lynn? That's approved unanimously. We just fit that right in there. Thank you. Now we are back. Oh, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen just because you get my notes. Now we're to our levy discussion.
Good thing.
Yes, good thing. So we
the peanut gallery.
Yeah.
we have some work to do here. I mean, I just will point out that our next item on our agenda is our consideration of an approval of a resolution that has a blank levy amount on there. So, I mean, the theory behind the sequencing of events is that we have the budget committee present some food for thought, and maybe I can put that back up here.
Yeah, I'm gonna have several comments.
And I'd like to do kind of a round robin of
Yeah.
thoughts on it.
Sure.
So I'll just kind of share it as we're discussing. Is that useful?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's two parts of it. As I was saying earlier, that we need to decide on a proposed option. And the two kind of the models really is what we need to decide first, and then drill down on that budget a bit so we can get that number. So, I'll start with, and I'd like to see a vote on which model we choose. Obviously, majority rules.
We can build consensus on that and then,
Yeah.
and then further make revisions to one of those.
I think, I really appreciate Judith's and comments on that. We want to save money. I wish there was a number out there that we could say that is the one that's going to pass. That we know it's going to pass, but we don't. And it's once you pass that budget, it's stuck there for it's going to be probably 18 years. I mean, it's not going to get any more. So if we go too low, and with ASA saying, we don't have enough flexibility, and that 6-year term is really important. So with that, when we get to the budget section of this, I hope we're working on the working budget, what so-called up there. But clearly, I didn't get in this to be in a position of just contract. I started, and the first meeting I came to 3 years ago was, as long as we do a full Parks and Recreation District, I'm all for it. And I've been all in all the time, 100%, and working many, many hours for that. So, while I think it's helpful to save money, but we're talking like 36 cents or something. I mean, it's like, per week for $100,000 house. It's just not much money difference. So, I can't, with all good faith, go on a reduced operation budget or the other two. It's just clearly for me, a working budget is the thing that I'm going to vote for. So that's where I'm coming from. That's my 2 cents.
Okay. As we gather consensus, I mean, Chom and I have done lots of talking on this. So Brady and Lynn, I would look to kind of some consensus gathering from each of you as well. Lynn, you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. So I've just written down a few of my concerns. I think number one is the timing. We have heard over and over again how devastating it would be to the sports program at the school if we did not pass this in April. Because forgotten her name, but Martha Martin was telling us about all the things that you have to do, that students have to do no later than June to have teams, and all the things that have to happen. People would need to be laid off if we didn't have a budget item for them to work from, and then that would be a big mess to build it back up. I don't think I've heard anyone say that they didn't support school sports. So I think that makes the timing extremely important. My concern with the lowest budget that says it's only for school, we haven't had the money to hire an attorney, but there has, my understanding, and I think perhaps Kit's from working in the Parks and Recs for so many years, is that may actually be illegal to have a Parks and Rec district that's supposed to serve the community be earmarked only for middle school and high school school attendees to participate in sports. So that sounds, first off, not something that I want to do, but also risky from a legal point of view. I was a little concerned about also the very low, the part-time 33% person. That's about 12 or 13 hours a week. Even the 20-hour work week, those people would get no benefit. Well, really, the 32-hour person wouldn't get benefits either, but are we able to find quality employee to do that kind of work where they'd have to find at least one other job to make a living wage? So that's the concern on the reduced business operations and the reduced operations budget. That's a concern for me. I think we still have more educating to do of people on the island, and I understand that everyone is in different financial situations. But I believe I've heard that we have some of the lowest taxes and levies in Washington state. So people who are saying, I'm going to get taxed out here and have to move somewhere else, I'm sort of wondering if they've looked around to see, where it's better. Things, life is getting more and more expensive and everyone is getting squeezed. But like Megan said, if we want to have a vibrant community, and there was someone at a previous public comment that said the same thing, that if you want to have a vibrant community, you need to have all ages participating in programs. So those are my thoughts. I would personally prefer the working budget, the highest budget. And I know that's a big ask, and I know that we will have to do a lot of work to talk to our neighbors about why we feel that it's important and why we feel it needs to be done. And I'd also like to point out that a lot of people have come and spoken supporting that idea. Over the last, I think it's 3 meetings now, we've had people come in and speak. So you can never tell if that's really representative of the voters, but we are hearing a lot of people supporting this. With that, I'll turn it over to Brady.
Yeah, thank you.
I can add just a few things, but I second a lot of what I've heard. I've dabbled with retirement and a fixed income. And so I'm not joking in the sense that I understand that the pressure that creates. I also entered into the development of a vision for a Parks and Rec, wanting that vision to be involving all members of the community. And I valued that to the point where I would spend my fixed income in taxes to make that vision a reality. I intend to die on this island. I want to be kayaking when I'm 70. I want to be interacting with multi-generational activities. And I think a Parks and Rec is the place that can do that. I think that the working budget represents significant cuts to the point where I'm worried about people who were yeses being nos coming in at 22 cents. So I do think there are people who share that vision that I've expressed, that I think Kit has expressed, of a comprehensive traditional Parks and Rec district on this island to turbocharge the opportunities available to everyone. And through partnerships, the original vision had several organizations that supported and or endorsed. Those organizations recognized the value in having another entity on the island that could provide some of the infrastructure and other benefits that created efficiencies and that allowed all organizations on this island to work together to better serve everyone on this island. So I can let go of that vision, recognizing that what we're trying to do is start something. And if that means we go down to 22 cents, I'm not going to like it. I will be biting my tongue in 4 years when we can't do things we want to do because it's not enough. But if that compromise means that we get a Parks and Rec up and running and save school sports and after school and summer programming, then I'll vote for it, but I wouldn't, it's hard for me to get to 22, let alone less.
Thank you. Joan, as we're kind of building the consensus on our direction here, and then we can get a little more into the by line item details, but
Yeah, I really hear that like a lot of people speak about the urgency of the school sports and particularly Martha, it's really helpful to hear that, that a lot hinges on the school has a certainty of budget to fund school sports. So I really take that to heart. And also I also, in my mind, I have this model that okay, if we start from the lowest amount, I feel like it's more likely that we'll be able to pass the levy. We'll be able to, make it past the 60% threshold. But the further we move up in terms of the amount that we put in the levy resolution, we based on the some, very small number of input that we received, some people will not support, just say, will not support anything but essential or anything beyond 10 cents. Some people say 15 cents, some people say 50% reduction, whatever. So it's a gamble, right? If we were to move higher, the more we move, the less certainty that we will have for the school funding. And this is where I feel like how serious are we about wanting the certainty for the school sports? If we want the certainty of the school sports, if that is so crucial, we ought to maximize the chance of this levy passing. And that to me means a lower amount. And to address the concern about the last option of the school only being potentially illegal, I think we it was really helpful to see on Orcas that they were able to utilize. They have 40 volunteers. I mean, they actually have a lot of staff, but they also utilize a lot of volunteers to help create programming that utilizes school facilities. And that gave me some ideas about, okay, if we fund school sports, even with the bare minimum option, perhaps, through the LIA, interlocal agreement, we could still make use of the facilities of the school when the school is not really using the gym or the field or whatever, and that could, offer some benefits to the community. So I feel like maybe there are ways to work around that. And for me, like, yes, we want a vibrant school. And so personally, I would like to weigh between, the urgency, the certainty of passing the levy versus my own personal preference for wanting to also see a vibrant community. And to me, that means investing in the program that the Family Resource Center is doing. So that means, the after school care and the summer program, I would like to, I would like to, see that the second and third, options, the scenarios option, are considered. I'm leaning actually toward the third one personally, because I heard from the board that the board is willing to consider cost sharing. Sorry, my husband. I'm gonna. Can you do not disturb? Okay. I am leaning toward the third one. It's as a compromise, because then we start.
The third one? I'm sorry.
The third one is a reduced operation and programming, youth programming cost sharing. since we heard from the board, posted on various places that you are looking for stable funding so that you can leverage it to fundraise, to seek grants, to seek donations, and are interested in, you use the word cost sharing, and that to me, seems like consistent with some of the feedback we receive from the community member too, that is, like we don't, we could provide support, but maybe not the whole amount, not the full cost. So that's my, my personal preference. But yeah, but then we have to again weigh against the possibility that this might not pass if the amount is higher.
Yeah. We are weighing various things here and kind of heard wish it was higher, inclinations. I do hear that people in our community have seen their assessed values increase, and that changes their tax bill in a way. I empathize with it, and I don't want to be flippant in my response on it. I really understand how that changes living on an island. I also really know how essential our youth are to our community. And for me, that's the reason I'm in this conversation, is because I not only want to see our school thrive, but our youth be supported. And I think we really have the opportunity to do that here. We have made substantial reductions to the bigger vision of it, really trying to bring it as far down as we can, while also creating some of the structure that leads to longer term financial success and other opportunities for our community. So for me, I am in it to see our youth supported, period. And we do have some funding issues. That's the reason we started this park and rec to begin with, as we looked around and we needed solutions. And I think there's a desire by some to use that solution for really narrowly, but it also needs the fullness of the support to get us to where we can do things with it. And for me, when I look at it, it's that working budget. It needs support to ensure that we're fully supporting the system. And we've made huge reductions in that working budget already and gotten rid of some things like transportation or
Capital.
I know, which Kit really wanted to keep, and I really saw the value in it. But
It's still there at 5,000.
Let's not, let's say on,
Yeah.
what thing we. And what-
So I am hearing consensus around the fine tooth comb going to the working budget. Tom, I appreciate that you lean otherwise, but when we're trying to find consensus of what we're doing here as a commission, I will say that what I have heard is that we look at the working budget. So as we go through this, I would say to our commissioners, are there any specific line items that you want to bring to our attention for further consideration?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, Kit.
So this is going to take a minute, so be patient, please.
Okay.
With the the manager at 32 hours, that was or specialist or whatever we're going to call them, the two positions, that was because we didn't have enough money to fund 40.
That was
It's
a
that
good
county thing.
No, that was a good faith effort to reduce the cost of what has for some been contentious. I would say that's kind of the only reason.
Okay. So, and the other part, because I think that is one of the things about flexibility that doesn't give us that flexibility if there's not enough money. Because I think, the person that's going to be whatever we're calling rec personnel, and I'd say the recreation manager, whatever that title is, that person's going to be probably an exempt employee. And that being that they're going to be on a salary, they're going to be somebody that's more than likely like Brady, his part-time, full-time job, that's what it will be. And I'm not sure that's fair to them to say 32 hours. I could live with the second youth manager of youth activities at 32, but the head of the thing that it's going to be a salary in reality, and I think we need to add some more money there to whatever that hourly rate is. And I want to go back to what Judith said, is that what we start them at maybe is like $40 an hour, and at the end they're 45 or $50 an hour, but over those 6 years that's going to be something that happens.
Mhm.
So my proposal is we don't have enough hours for that position.
But that
We're
one,
not supposed to add, but there are state laws about what the threshold has to be, and it's going up to a very high amount, so that may not
Okay.
be a valid.
Yeah, okay. Also, that the two
Sorry.
directors, the two directors, 130,000 in San Juan and 110,000 in Orcas. And, it's like a teacher or some other position. When you see what they're making, it's gonna go up.
that's significantly less than what Orcas or
I-
San Juan pay. The
Yeah.
74 we have in here is significantly
I'm
less. Yeah.
just saying,
Yeah.
where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
And I'll work my way down. Office supplies, and the other part, I guess, what we propose and others haven't seen. The youth sports. So people spoke about youth sports. That's really important, and I agree. But we're only covering in this budget right now until this day, eighth grade, middle school sports, and high school sports. I want to see and propose in the budget, and it's in there, thank you, the preschool sports, intro and kindergarten, and then a first through third grade sports division and a fourth through sixth grade. So we're covering sports in all those age ranges. And so this really amplifies my personal feeling as a former Parks and Recreation director, as a former sports coordinator, as a sports team coordinator in different places. And the other one with a teen night, someplace they can be, and special event things like flashlight Easter egg hunt for kids, or something bizarre. But moving on, the office supplies we had at one time before. If we can go down, maybe. Thank you.
That is office supplies, but do you want
Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry, I'm yeah. Before the budget that we talked about at the library, that had 6,000 in the budget.
Well, that's the program supplies right there. This is just
yeah.
office supplies.
Okay, but
This would be like
what is that? Because
it's like printing paper and tape and
Okay.
a stapler. It's the things that you do to have your kind of director personnel.
Yeah, so
There should be a small allocation for that.
yeah, even that.
But I think what you're really looking at is like program supplies for.
Yeah, then I was going to go down to program supplies because what I proposed was 9,300. It's 3,300 less. So how did you get to that number? Because I actually, after school, sports, balls and equipment, the teens, all that stuff. So, how did you get to a $3,000 reduction?
Just a desire to reduce. So, I mean, as we're noting these, I could, we could
I think it's
change
low.
that.
Yeah, I think it's low. That's, so maybe just put an asterisk by it. It's, I'm afraid exactly what Asa and Judith are saying, and I feel that way, that it's locking us into something that may,
You want to come back to that one,
Yeah.
and you want to come back
at least to
to
talk about
this one.
the hours. And it's really not the money, but the hours.
Okay.
So that about
Okay.
hours. Thank you. I'll move on so we aren't here forever. The program equipment in general, that one was a bit low from what I proposed, which was 4,150. It's like $2,500 under that, and that was another one to just reduce.
Okay.
That one's pretty low. I didn't understand professional service that you had the first line there, the professional service. Was it next one up? Is it?
Accounting services?
No, it's up. Go up. I'm sorry, go up. Yeah. Oh, the one that you had. I thought I saw 1,000. Okay, I'm mistaken. It's good. Legal services, I think, is high because, as an example, San Juan hasn't had an attorney for 5 years, 4 years that they've used. So I think we can reduce that down to, a number that's.
The office also budgets only 3,000.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it's, maybe 3,000, something like that, maybe 2,000 even. It's, we could be pretty low.
The challenge is when you need an
Then you don't have it. I know.
attorney, like,
I wouldn't mind having it 5,000, but I want to give and take.
even year it'll be 20.
So I think, yeah, but I think we should highlight. Yeah,
it could be
I think all I think it is we should highlight to have more discussion, and it's not just me.
Yeah.
That's all my point of this. Accounting services, that could be a bit high, and that's.
That's standard rate for an accountant at 4 hours per month,
Yeah, so
just to be clear.
yeah, no, I was looking at why I'm saying that is the hospital district has I talked to Alice Faulkner. She does that and she's spending about $1,000. She's a 65 an hour and she is spending about $1,000 a month, or they're spending about 1,000 on her. So, that one, it's questionable what we want to do. It's just a question. It's either too low or too high. I'm not sure. So, I had in there 12,000 when I was looking at it because that 1,000 a month is, so that's,
For the accounting services?
yeah, I'm not sure,
That's
just
kind of
depends-
mid-range. Do you want to come back to that one, or are you comfortable with that as a place?
leave it off. Yeah,
Okay.
then take it off. On all this. I thought that going down on the levy and elections, how are we paying? Because the 5,000, that's each year, so we're accumulating the money over 5 years.
This is
And I understand that that's 5,000 each year. What I was trying to do is divide it out per year, so I think it can be reduced. Is my point.
it is reduced. So this assumes 2 elections for a levy and
Yeah, we got to pay for all the
one,
elections.
and then 2 commissioner ones, and it
Yeah.
divides it by 6 years.
Okay.
And like I said, if we fundraise for this, then great, then we put that money to other things. But
I
you
didn't
also need
think
to
of
account for
that,
it. But
of the commissioners' elections. I was thinking all that.
I know, I kind of last minute thought of that, but
That's
there I did think
Good
about it.
catch. Sure, there,
It's not
there.
just initiatives. We pay ballot fees for candidates.
We, I don't know about the people that run oppose. I guess we have to pay when commissioners are elected,
Okay.
that portion of it.
Yeah, whatever portion that is for when we run, yeah. Okay. Printing, I think we can live with the 10,000 because I really want to see us do a really nice brochure like San Juan, and thank you for leaving that in there. Postage though, I would like to be able to mail that out. So if you can highlight postage, because I had in there to mail it out like annual report that the resource center does and those type of things to make it nice and get it out. And it does a couple things for us. It tells what we've been doing and what we want to do, and it gets the advertisement out there. It's a real symbol, I think. So, it's probably, yeah, we highlighted that one. Web fee hosting. We're at what? On web fee posting? Yeah, that's probably about right. Those.
We were also calculating in that,
I'm right here.
yeah, with.
So, I guess.
Yeah, I know, you totally caught on to what I was doing, yeah.
I think 300 of that is the actual domain name and
Yeah.
website hosting, and the other cost is, if you wanna have the, email addresses that are at your domain name, and also you've talked about. Just not something.
Google, it's not
Workspace.
So it's-
Workspace, thank
it
you.
was-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
It's more than just that.
Yeah, Google Workspace has the benefit of being a central location that follows no matter the commissioner and our
Yeah.
different websites. It keeps all our information there, which for Open Public Meetings Act is a very useful thing to have it, not a lot of money. So
I think it's good. No, and some of these are questions,
Yeah.
just because I haven't had the
Yep.
discussion hence we have open public meetings.
Mhm.
I think the account software is going to be like 1450, but that's, we can absorb it somewhere, but that's a little bit low. It's like 100. I actually, the sewer district pays for QuickBooks and it's And also Alice is doing the other one. So
We did actually look at what
it's
that
one
costs
ten a month, I think is what I had.
for basic.
115,
but continue on.
115.
Yeah.
Okay. Telephone, the telephone one was one that I wanted to bring up with Bray. I'm not sure. I'm sure we're going to be at the school because that makes complete sense where our office is and where we're going to be. But what
A
is
cell phone with a leader of
yeah,
programming.
yeah. How are we going to do
Like
the
a
internet?
safety perspective.
Yeah, that little bit of conversation. It's not an interlocal agreement, but it's like, what's the plan? I have no
I mean,
idea.
it could be included in an interlocal potentially,
Yes.
but it's not cheap. I mean,
Yeah.
we looked at our bill at the board meeting yesterday, and we pay 1,500 a month for our landlines,
Hmm.
and then there's additional, and then
Yes.
I don't know if we want radios. Like there are,
Yeah.
so that number.
You think that's
is-
okay? We should have
Well-
that in. It seemed high, but I don't know.
I think it's a safety measure to have in there as a budget, and if we find that we don't need it, it's
Yeah.
not a significant one.
There also is, I mean, it needs to be installed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's
And it's
something-
what's interesting to me a little bit is when I was working, there was a model, you had administrative assistant and you had a director, and you had, people, and now, and with a small place, you don't need the administrative assistant because everybody has to type and it's like going to cell phone. So how we do it. I just wanted to make sure that we had some conversation on that.
Mm-hmm.
The one going down sales tax. The one thing that's really important on sales tax, and the reason I left it blank, we need it blank, is because when you're not any program that we charge money, we have to pay sales tax on 8.4%. And anybody that takes a credit card, we're gonna have to pay 3%. And to add to it the registration fee, they were paying 9% in Orcas. So it's like 9 cents per registration or 90 cents or whatever it was.
Wow.
So what I'm getting at, the point is, whatever we have on revenue, we're going to have to increase it by 21% to get break even. It's going to cost us 21% of that revenue that you have.
Oh,
It comes from where?
8.4% sales
So
tax,
that-
3% for a credit card, or 3.5% credit card. And then if there's a registration fee, because you pay for the software, but then they charge you per registration a lot of times. So it depends on, that's like, I put a 9% in there. So it's kind of a,
that would be a revenue reduction
Yeah.
then, right?
well, yeah,
For-
or we increase the fees is the point,
There's also bank fees too.
No, yeah.
That's not what he's talking
Yeah, that's
about.
not what I'm talking.
I understand what you're talking
So
about.
so it's just to be considered because if you take off 21% of that 55, it kind of screws us, right? But it's
This
there, it's a
is
reality.
straight assumption of we gain that revenue, but you're saying that revenue would be offset by fees.
Or we put that up front. What we did, I mean, Orcus, they built it into their fee.
Yeah.
And we could build it into the fee. So what I'm getting at is on the expense side, we'll just build it into our fees, but I want to have a discussion about it. So whatever we think that fee is, you add, whatever, it could be 18 to 21%.
Mhm.
So I wanted to just say that.
Okay.
Getting on my favorite subject.
Capital. I know you'd have
Geez,
something to
guys,
say.
man, I mean, we were 10% of 850,000, 85,000. And then we came down to 10,000. And that wasn't even a penny because it's $22,323 per penny that we have. We don't even have a penny for capital. And I'm talking about we go, break some backboard at the school and that 5,000's gone. It's just not even close to enough money. And I advocate for it, not for because I think capital is cool. I advocate because you got to have it. And, it just everything.
Wear and tear
so
on the
expensive.
facilities we're using, that kind of where you're
Yeah.
going
I
with
mean,
that.
that it's just, if it isn't 10%, it should be a penny, which is 22,000. I mean, honestly, it really should be. It's the board's decision, but I'm just saying, heads up, if we don't put it in there, we'll never get it back. The other thing that capital does for you, if you don't spend it, we find something that really is an emergency, we can pull from that capital. We could use it, but it's a bank kind of, and that's from my standpoint, man alive, that's really important. The other one that I have from a standpoint, more discussion from others is the inflation adder. I just want to make sure we have enough. You know, because I didn't exactly understand how you did it. You put 3% of the 549.
3% of before the 549. So I think it was added up among them. I'm not quite
Yeah. I
following.
mean, we get 1% per year, but it's, that might be low. That's my only point. Just put a highlight for discussion. If you
Okay.
could, because that's the last one I have is on revenue. So youth recreation, how'd you get the 7,865? Because I had when I was showing the ones, I think it was.
I did it as 70% of what it was costing. Do you want me to change that?
Yeah, I think that's too high. The point of the youth sports is to get them into sports. And we can up the cost somewhere. Like and say I put in there a really low cost, $10. But I mean we could probably charge 25 per kid. But the really important thing that I've seen in all the places I've been is t-shirts. The t-shirts across Lopez Parks and Recreation and having those kids shirts that they are great advertisement for us. So it's worth supporting that program with less revenue. So I don't know, how 70% is really high. It
What do
really,
you think? I mean, just
I put in, I think it's more about 2,000, 2,500.
so 50% type of thing?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, did that just change everything? I
Sorry.
think we're all good. I think we're okay.
Those are my discussion points. And if anybody had any questions more on it, I'd be happy to, spew more about my
Yeah.
years of experience.
This is the tedious work of budgets, just to be clear. I mean,
Yeah.
I know that it was like, it's tempting to say, oh, we just have this amount, but this is the tedious work of dealing with budgets, is really trying to contemplate the impact of it all. With one hand, really trying to want to minimize costs.
That's what I did from 26 to 24, and then it's like,
Yeah,
well,
no, I get it. And then on the other side, wanting to make sure we're not foolishly reducing things. So, Kit has made some suggestions here by line item. Are there commissioners that would like to bring to our attention additional places for reconsideration for me to highlight? And then we'll go back through them. Yeah, Lynn?
I have a question about the insurance.
Yeah.
You have a number, and then to the right, you have numbers from.
If you know the row number, feel free to tell me.
I wish I did.
41. Okay. Thank you.
so,
Okay.
are you-
5,000 is the absolute minimum for, like, we're not even really doing anything, but we need to insure ourselves.
I completely understand. My concern is in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Concern is we have.
Island Rec is 33,000, but they have a lot of facilities too. So
it's based on vehicles, facilities they have, and personnel and what they do somewhat. But that is a good number. It's probably going to be in the 9,000, but it gives us a little room for inflation and if we're off. But Trump's done a pretty good job on working on what that cost will be, and it's because we don't own much and we don't have much.
yeah.
It's really that's the low cost. But we're going to need to name the school district as insured, and so it's a number.
Yeah, insurance companies always want other insurance companies.
Go first.
Yeah. So that will be part of it.
I have
Do
some
you
information
want to?
on this as well.
Okay, hold on. Let me just capture Lynn's real quick.
Yeah.
Lynn, did you want us to have further conversation? Do you want me to highlight that, or are you feeling like?
Well, I think that Kid answered my question of why it was so much lower than Island Rec, and his answer shockingly makes sense. No, I'm kidding. Thank you, Kid.
Yeah. Lynn, is there anything else you want us by line item to take a closer look at?
No.
Okay, Brady, is there anything by line item that you think we should have some reconsideration on?
No, I mean, I think as someone who's built budgets for years and also started organizations, I think it's so hard to predict what year one will look like versus 2, 3.
Yes.
Like there's a startup phase, there's a sort of a growth phase, there's a sustaining phase.
Mhm.
a 6-year levy has to kind of cover all three of those phases.
Yes.
So like just generally it gives me a little bit of nervousness around, again, just being too low.
Yes, I hear you.
Because we are, startup, we might have money to roll over because we are getting things started, but but growth and sustain modes, we're going to find ourselves constricted.
Mhm.
So not line item, but just, restating what I said before, which is I'm nervous about 22 cents.
Yeah. Heard.
Well, I have some, it just actually, it was a follow-up on the insurance cost. So August, has, a latest year budget is 9,000 something. I don't remember the exact number, but that is 7 to 8 staff, 40 volunteers, of property, Buckfield, and lots of classes. And anyway, their insurance premium is 9,000 something.
Yeah, so we know the 5 to 9 range is accurate.
Right. But I do have a comment on, I guess in general, I guess the main thing that I would like to get a sense from is that how soon are we thinking of building in-house capability to provide, to do programming services, like particularly with regards to the youth programming of after school program and summer workshop, because if initially we plan to contract out, to Family Resource Center, then we can actually defer some of the expenses, like for example, insurance. If we don't have a lot going on, we don't have a lot of staff, we don't have a lot of personnel to do in-house programming, our costs can be low, like the subscription, the software registration, the printing, all that, we actually can save initially. And that means that we may not need
I
all
think what you're
of
talking about is reserves, because what we really need is a 6-month reserve.
Yeah.
So, it's a long
Mhm.
future discussion, but certainly, I don't see us really starting the slow start. That's late 2027, other than school sports, and probably really everything else is almost 2028 in reality.
Yes, and to your point, building up reserves in that time is also important.
Because we need probably, it'd be a board policy that we have to do, but it's going to be, more likely a 4 to 6 month range of what it costs us to operate.
Which will change over time.
Oh God, yeah,
Yeah.
and
But back to Brady's point that he started out with is, you're looking at what you're starting with and how you're developing and then sustaining over time. So we just have to be comfortable with that nuance and being our best guess effort of what annual costs will be.
I take the 10,000 we have for insurance. What is it going to be 6 years from now? I mean, we're guessing, but it's going to be more than 10,000, right? So do we have enough in there? It's kind of the question, because it starts out, might not have enough. And what are we going to be like when we don't have enough? If hopefully it passes, but, and it's really interesting, that looking at like one penny more, how much it costs a $1 million house. Honestly, it was like 37 cents a week for that one penny more, 37 cents a week. It equates to about $60 a year, but it's like, it's crazy, but if we had that magic number that said, that's it, it's going to pass. We don't know, but we know, we have a sense that 37 is too high. And I have a sense 10 is too low. So somewhere in between there.
Brady, are there any byline items thing that you want more? Okay. Shall we go through the ones that Kit brought to our attention and have some discourse on?
John, did you get your 2 cents in that we're too high or too low?
too high always for me, but yeah, I don't know if I have the same vision as other commissioners.
Yeah, but that's what we need to get on this commission vision, because your vote and your constituency is the 10%. So help
Yeah.
out.
Well, I'm just concerned that, I don't know, if we want the certainty of the school sport, we
Yeah,
have
but we're not
to
talking
be
about that.
careful about that.
I'm saying,
Yeah.
we've consensus on working budget, so that's what you gotta come around. But if there's anything else, yeah.
I
I
have,
I guess that would be helpful to go through the discussion and the highlight. I've said enough, but I'll say a little bit more. I think that one, I think both should be, it's a weird time because with the county having 32 hours full time, that's what they're doing. And I'm a dinosaur. I'm an antique now because my brain sets, you work 40 hours and so I typically worked like 45, 50 hours a week and got paid for 40 for the director job or manager job because there's so much to do and the startup's going to be so big. So all I'm saying is to me, I don't know what that cost. But it's, another 8 hours on that. It's probably more like starting at 80.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was clear from community feedback that a oppositional talking point was the salary of the director. And so, not to suggest this is just like about whipping the vote, but part of what we have to do is whip the vote. We
Yeah.
were at 49%. We need 60 plus one. We've reduced it by, in this case, by 15 cents, which is a huge reduction. Will 15 cents bring us 11% more yeses? I think so. But I also think we have to address the talking points
Mm-hmm.
that became sort of, and
Yeah.
reasonable ones, not unreasonable.
But
Like,
that's-
I'm not-
that's our-
Yeah.
I'm not.
This is kind of a touch point that I found interesting. In August, the library received approval of their levy, which was at 37 cents. What was it?
48.
48 cents.
They were already at 36, so it was
So
only
it's a lift.
12%.
Yeah.
So, okay, so
But 48
the
again.
1,000 voters on Lopez voted yes to it going to 48, and we had 800 that voted before. So we're looking for 200 votes of the people, the type of person that voted yes to the library to say,
160.
yeah, you sharpened your pencil. We want youth service, or we want our youth to be supported. This is worth it.
We were also, in November, facing incredible uncertainty around the clinic
Yep.
and the cost of healthcare on this island, which I
Mhm.
think is getting settled. Not good, but there's conversations moving in that direction. I think that things look different in April than they did in November.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People are paying their taxes. There's something you're saying
So-
that I thought was
so
really, really good, Brady.
Yeah, Lynn?
I have a question and I apologize for targeting one of my co-commissioners, but Chom, you have expressed that you are not where the rest of us are on this topic and future vote. And I'm wondering, are you going to be able to support this in the sense of speaking to your constituency and doing some work between now and when the levy election is to try to get this passed?
Sorry, what's your question again?
My question is, if this commission votes for the working budget, which is higher than you have expressed that you're comfortable with, are you going to be able to join us in trying to get voters to vote for it?
I probably will join you. My heart is probably not in it.
Do you want to see stable funding for youth? Like, is that a priority for you? Can you plug my?
Sure.
Yeah, I feel like we can solve the problem by the lower, by aiming for a lower amount. I feel like if we care about success, the levy passing, well, I mean, I'm actually curious to hear others too. Like, what happens if the levy fails? Like, what's the consequence of that? To me, there is not like besides the school sports, which I'm also curious to hear. I also feel that it could also set us back in terms of our social capital, if we have any. with the community, it means that we have failed to listen to the community twice, okay, maybe once as a commission. So I feel like there isn't like a zero negative impact from failing to pass a levy that, resonates with the community. It reflects that we are not listening to the community very well. So I have some concern about that. So I'm curious to hear.
Well, my first thing, that one of the things I wrote down is, if we reduce this to the bare minimum and it doesn't pass, as you said, where do we go? That's why I think if we are just a little bit higher, then we have some backup. But I don't, it's not higher to be higher, it's higher to be reasonable. So, if it doesn't pass at 22 cents, I don't know if I would stay commissioner. I really don't think that's worth it.
Purely motivated by the youth of Lopez Island, whom I deeply believe in and I think is essential to the fabric of our community, and will use my voice to advocate on their behalf. So for me, the working budget is what is a huge compromise and also keeps that advocacy at center stage for what I want for our community. I really think our youth need our support right now. And we're working really hard to find other solutions when we've had disruptions to state and federal funding. And we have an opportunity here to meet their needs. And I really deeply believe in that.
I mean, I reject the premise that lowering the rate increases the likelihood of passage. It's not a straight correlation. I think we haven't asked the question in a survey, if it were only supporting school sports, would you still vote for it? I think we shed voters when we go to 10. I think we shed voters when we go to 22. We're gonna have to convince folks that this can still do the things that they wanted it to do when they voted yes for 37 cents. So, I think you've used that phrase a few times. Increasing our chances of success by lowering the levy rate. I don't think that's automatic. I don't think it's a straight line. I think there's a tipping point. I think 22, I've said it before, is like almost below the tipping point for people that I engage with around this. So if I'm representing my constituency, I'm representing that concern that they have, that just doing these a la carte kinds of things and not having a full park and rec district is not the vision. And I'm not sure that that's something that they would want to support. So I challenge the premise that lowering the rate increases the chance of success automatically.
If
I would agree with Brady that I've heard the same kind of thing, that people want to vote, people that I speak to. We all have different people we speak to, but the people.
Well, I mean, I also heard from we visited Island Rec and August Rec, and Island Rec, seems like they also started off with 5 cents. I mean, they
40
started
years ago. Come on.
40 years ago.
God.
I know.
I would have loved it.
That was $50.
Yeah.
No, but they operated on 5 cents for a long time, and then they did not have a director for a long time, and then that also consistent too with Orcas too, where the director was saying that if I were you, I would recommend going with the bare minimum and demonstrate to the community what you can do.
She didn't say that.
She did in the email. I can quote you.
That was Kim. But
That
anyway,
was Kim.
we're off point. We're going to be here till, we're already half an hour over. Let's go down a list that I've suggested, and let's either vote
Okay.
a bit more, or
So
say that.
Kit, you're worried about the personnel being too low. Brady, I heard you express
hours.
the hours. I heard you express that has been a sticking point. So do you feel comfortable going to 32 hours? I'm looking for.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I didn't go line items. I'm just, yes, we'll make it work.
Okay. I do want to come back to some of these things because, Kit brought them to our attention. Kit, program supplies, and sure, you're on the budget committee, so you get to make comments.
budget, and that line item was $6,000 then.
Okay.
What's the difference? So the difference is that I went with Chom and went to Orcas and San Juan, and I got inspired. So what's really, really important to me, that K through sixth grade sports, that's in there. So that's basketball, soccer, maybe baseball. Teen programs really care about teen programs that they have something to do at night, and an open gym program. It had special events for kids and teens. So that's the difference from when you saw it before and till you see it now. It has some programs that are specific and added to that budget for those line items.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we are kind of going by line item. How much of this do we feel like
Okay, so what
is going to
say-
make
I-
big differences
So here's
in the
what
bottom line?
I'll compromise. Let's go back to legal. Let's take that down to 2,000, and then we have 3,000 to allocate other places, and we'll keep the same budget. So put that up to,
Legal, you're reducing? Like
Yeah.
that's the recommendation? Oh.
that's what I'm saying. What do you
I mean, I've lived through
yeah.
incredible legal expenses in an organization. So
Yeah.
where do you pull
Well,
from?
well,
Where
what
do
I'm
you pull
basing it-
from? Let me ask this. Where
Yeah.
do you pull from when the legal bill is 20 grand?
Yeah, we don't have 20 grand in it, but what I'm pulling from is what San Juan has not had for 5 years.
It's unpredictable.
I absolutely agree with you.
It's harassment, it's lawsuits,
Yeah.
it's
No,
stuff that you cannot predict.
I'm just proposing it. I didn't say it.
Okay,
voted
I
on.
just like
Yeah.
lowering legal, just
Yeah.
you have to pull from somewhere else.
Yeah, that's my point is, we could balance it where we had, but
A lawyer's going to want 5 grand on retainer
Yeah.
before they even open a book.
the other option is, not 22.1.
I mean, you put this into, we could develop a policy that says we put this into a fund till we have a set amount and then we use those funds for other things, just to be clear.
Sure. But that's we're talking pennies to make sure we have enough in a year. So I think about 7,500 as program supplies is that's lower than what I was saying 9,500 and 9,300, and so I'm compromising instead of 9,300 saying 7,500.
Does anyone object to me raising that to 7,500?
No.
Did I put it in the right spot? Nope, I did not. Control Z. Here we are. Okay, just to
Program
get down to our rate,
Yeah.
we're still at 22 cents.
the program equipment general, I think that should be, I said 4,000, we have 2,000, so add 1,000, that's a compromise. 3,000,
here?
yeah, 3,000, make it work. Like Brady, I'm trying to make it work. What was the other one? Counting postage was the other big one. That I want to mail it out, and what I understand, and I'm sorry I'm asking the audience, but I think it's about what did I say?
Postage is kind of remarkably non-existent in this budget, but
Yeah.
Where did $88 come from across all budgets?
that's what it costs to get a PO box.
8250, yeah.
That's
To receive me.
Okay, can we assume that that's
a
not
small
realistic?
too.
Yeah, it's the small one.
Small. No.
But what,
But I think it's like, 3 times a year, the mailing, I think it's about, $1,500 per mailing. So it's about $7,000. And I think that's an important one to get out.
can we reduce that further?
Because you have to have a nonprofit, I don't know
Yeah.
how you.
We don't have to, but
We have a nonprofit permit, it costs roughly about $500 per mailing to go out. Well,
Okay, how about we just put another 1,000 in there? And that's reduced, but gets us a couple.
well, sure. I mean, it's low, and if we mail it and it goes out, we maybe mail it twice. I don't know.
I put in 1,500 for a kid.
Thank you. And
And that $88 is still sticking in there. That is the cost of a PO box. The
Yeah.
county has already asked us, what's your address? And I said, ooh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know.
So
This costs $1,400 to buy 1,800 stamps. If we want to mail letters.
Yeah, but it would be a bull, it's not a letter, it's the brochure.
I know, I'm just giving a frame of
Yeah.
reference of like
Yeah.
88.
yeah,
is-
that's not high.
All
Okay.
right, the only other one's capital.
So
Come
give
on, guys.
give us your spiel on capital, Kit.
Well, this covers probably repairs of breakage that will happen at the school, and then the only other place I see that money for fixing those things is if the school doesn't spend 190, we put it in a capital fund for repairing stuff at the school.
180.
180, thank you.
Full
Yeah,
amount.
180, thank you. So what we need, there's like community grants. The pool's done really well on that, which is a legislative grant for things like the soccer field at the school. We won't get the track, but that we could put irrigation in at the school field. But we're gonna have to have some money ourselves. And 5,000 is like I can reach in my pocket. It's the pocket dust. It doesn't even pay sales tax on what we need. So I don't know. I just think it's too low. And I guess my proposal would be making a difference there between 22 and 23 cents. It's like it's like probably about 10,000 maybe.
If we put in 10, let's see how it impacts that bottom line. That brings you up, if you're rounding up, that brings you to 23 cents.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. If we came up to, yeah. Are we really going to go out for something and we're going to ask for 22.26 cents?
No, we would ask for 23.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So whatever that's where I put the difference to make it 23 is in the capital. I don't know what that happens, but
There you go.
yeah.
Rounding upping.
To me, that because it just is like a safe fund that we need. And
Okay. Well, that
And-
was
and-
that was a further wisdom of Kit experiment that brought it from, 22 cents to 23 cents. And as you pointed out, that's
still like Brady said, and Brady is so much more articulate to me. Thank you, Brady, for help. But it's like I'm holding my nose doing it, and I know it's not quite enough. And the people around me are going, "Why are you doing that? It's too low." But we got to get it started.
so just reference.
And Chum, just the opposite from you. I'm trying to make this happen, just like you are. But I'm going. I got to sell this. I got to sell this. I got to sell this because you're gonna have to sell it. And then if you can't, that's people are gonna look at you. So
Well,
think about
It
it.
was actually one of your bylaw suggestions that we speak as a commission.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm being honest with you.
I'm being
You know,
honest too, that my
no.
heart won't be in it. I'm being honest.
Well, you got to
Yeah,
find a
yeah.
way to do it. All I'm saying is because if it doesn't happen, you got to think about it. I'm not sleep on it, whatever. But
Yeah,
As we are debating these things, I will
I
just
was
say, go.
26 cents. I'm not happy at 26, but I went down 3 cents and I probably saved everybody about $1.50 a month.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
difference
but
between
we
23
are
and
competing needs
I don't
and
disagree.
yeah,
I don't
and
disagree. We've heard it. I know. I'm just saying to
we
you.
may have civil war. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't know. Like I hold a lot of concerns, not just for the community, but also for the country. And I just feel like whether or not we can recreate, I feel, I don't know, like we need to focus on the essentials and that's the school sports and that's the youth.
Yeah, but
Yeah, anyway, that's my piece.
I could make a good argument that that's not the only thing that's essential. Healthy
well, I
life.
think we very much have focused on youth in this. I mean, that is
Yeah,
clear that that's the priority.
What the staffing will
funding.
do for this, the staffing levels will do for this is that they will be able to have programs that pay for themselves 100% that aren't in this, that adults can do and others that will pay 100%. And what we're doing in this budget is supporting the ones that can't support themselves that need offset from taxes or some source. So it's great. It's good. I hope it passes because it's really needed. And if it doesn't pass now, when could it ever pass?
You want to increase the youth revenues now that, like you have been provided more on the expense side?
We did
You able to
increase
do
it,
more
yeah.
things? Oh,
We did it, we
did
actually decreased it, but we increased it.
Mhm.
So look at revenue, go down, as I recall. We are showing $5,000.
What was it before?
Yeah.
I mean, just to be clear, that was me just randomly saying 70%, but you're saying 50% is more realistic.
Yeah.
Specifically because there's like baked in fees of processing.
How do you for a special event for teens, how do you charge them? You can't, it's a freebie. Remember that pyramid, Sean, that you've shown us?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what this is.
Parents.
It's the lowest part of the pyramid. Yeah. All right. So where do we go from here? We got a couple other things to happen.
Consensus brought us to working budget by line item, had some additions that brought it to 23 cents. So is there further discussion of that amount that people want to put forth at this moment?
I have a question about legal services. My understanding is that if we get insurance, we actually have access to some legal services through MRSC. Is it
MRSC.
MRSC, right, yeah.
They
Right?
give you they're not your lawyer.
Mhm.
They consult.
They consult and they
Mhm.
publish legal responses to general questions, but they're never there to directly give you legal advice, nor is our county district attorney.
AWC will represent us if we, or the Honduras, if we have a lawsuit. I mean, that's why we're paying them. But
For certain
hopefully,
things,
yeah, certain
with
things.
risk management. It
But
depends
what
what you're getting.
legal is
to.
more like counseling on us. Should we do this or that? That kind of thing to me. But a park district I worked in Southern California, we hardly ever used the legal services. It was just, what we do is
We could develop a policy for you policy people that we accrue that line item to a certain amount, set it aside, and then use it for other
Yeah.
things, just so we have a rainy day fund.
Yeah, and we still have and hopefully it passes to work with Barbara and Resource Center, how we approach the youth. And then I think there are some really creative ways out there that we can do the after school daycare and the summer camp.
Mhm.
I'm confident of that. We have the resolution, how we're doing that cover sheet and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Doing the resolution and when it's going and all that.
So we're just to levy discussion in our deliberation here. So let me stop my sharing so I can go back to our agenda.
Resolution is as we move bylaws out.
Resolution is next. So would a commissioner like to move to approve
I'll move to approve the resolution.
2601
Yes.
and then a second
What is the
Second.
resolution specifically saying?
with the
Wouldn't that need to be included, the rate?
we'll amend it with
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
you want to say
we'll amend it.
23 cents, thank you.
Well, so you move to approve resolution 2601. Is there a second to that?
I seconded.
Okay, Lynn seconds. Now, would someone like to move to amend it to include a levy rate and
And a date,
a date?
The date is there.
but can be adjusted.
We have to approve the date. I'm not clear on the date.
The date is on there.
But can be adjusted.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, we not voting on the when first? I'm pretty kind of confused.
Well, the resolution does to place a ballot on the April 28th, 2026 special election. So that, I mean, if someone wanted to vote to amend it, they would suggest a different time for it. So, but it does need to be amended with a rate.
I actually would like to propose that we adjust the language a little bit on the we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whereas So right now it reads, whereas, is this a okay time to suggest?
Sure.
Okay.
Late, but-
Whereas the Lopez Island School District has requested that Lopez Island Park and Rec District provide funding for the Lopez School Sports Program. I would like to just switch it, last time I didn't have enough, bandwidth to come up with a alternative language, see what you think. I just would like it to be more active, like the district, playing a more active role in that clause. I would like to propose that we change it to, whereas the Lopez Island, Park and Recreation District and the Lopez Island School District have identified a critical need to secure sustainable funding for youth athletics. And
Or you could say, Lopez Island Park and Recreation District intends to provide funding for the Lopez Island School District sports program.
I thought provide funding was
I
not.
just want to say I'm not going to vote for an amendment change
You're,
Oh.
well,
at this point.
you're fine with it.
Yes.
Is that why, I thought, my understanding is that first, between first read and second read, you can propose.
Yeah, oh, you can. I'm just saying where
Okay.
I'm at.
All right. Well, anyway, I thought it would actually read better. I don't know, initially, when I read it, I got stumped on two things. Lopez Island School District has requested that Lopez Island Park and Rec District provide funding. My first thing was like, I have never received a request, as a commissioner.
We did
So
talk
I
about
felt-
this in the first read.
Right.
Okay.
Therefore, to avoid confusion, I don't know if other people would have similar confusions. That's why I think that it might be good to change the language a little bit so that, first of all, we address that confusion and.
We can just take off the school district has requested and just say that Lopez Island Park and Rec District intends to provide funding for the Lopez School Sports Program. That is a very easy amendment
Okay,
that doesn't take a lot of wordsmithing. Does that work for you, or do you want to keep it as is?
I lifted it from the Friday Harbor resolution, which is the model for
Yeah.
the interlocal agreement between the Parks and Rec and the school district. So,
Mhm.
but I
I'm
mean,
not-
I'm not sure wordsmithing a resolution at this stage is worth it.
Yeah.
I don't see what the benefit is.
Yeah.
I don't need, that's why I'm not voting for an amendment.
Okay.
And
If you have other ones,
that's not a vote yet, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
so just to be clear.
Right.
Lynn, any input on that?
Sorry, yeah, I don't think it adds anything of value at this point.
just so I understand correctly, so this is not because I cannot propose an amendment, but because you think that it's too late to amend?
I don't think it provides clarity. I don't think it does.
Okay, no.
Doesn't add value. Why I'm saying it is.
Yeah.
Is because it doesn't add value to it right now.
Mhm.
And I think it's fine. It's like it does, we talked about it before. It's like good enough to get where we need to go. And I'm just giving you a heads up when we go to vote.
I do like how it follows into the next whereas, and per discussion previously, they are intended to be read as one communication, and that the school would like to have Park and Recreation provide funds for the sports program, and in return, they will provide access to school facilities. So it does indicate the exchange and the relationship that's of mutual benefit. So
if you don't think that's an improvement, that's fine. Yeah, no need.
okay. Would a commissioner like to move to amend it to include the cents, which we absolutely do need?
Yep. We put 23 cents in and we go in April. That is my
Is
motion.
there a second on 23 cents?
I second it.
Lynn seconds it. Is there any further discussion on that? Okay, I'm gonna put this in at 23 cents. On this meeting date, the Board of Commissioners of Open and Park and Rec District had a public meeting on
February.
Don't we need to sign this? Or
we
That's
will
good.
after the meeting if we vote to approve it.
Mike-
Okay. So 2601 has been amended to include 23 cents per 1,000 of assessed value with a date of this public meeting of February 26th. Any further discussion? All in favor of approving resolution 2601 as amended, say aye.
Aye.
I say aye. Lynn says aye. Chum?
Trying to, I would like to abstain, please.
Okay, we have 4 ayes and 1 abstaining from a vote. So that passes. What else is on?
Next steps.
Next steps. Since this has passed, we need to do a few things with the county. For expediency, I'm just gonna move that we appoint Kit and myself to coordinate with the county on the legal steps
I
of
second that.
putting this resolution through.
Okay.
All in favor of appointing Kit and myself to be the representatives with the county to ensure that we are submitting this resolution as needed. Say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. So that approved unanimously. So Kit and I will address next steps with the county, including updating a request for advocacy statements for both the pro and con. We will put that further details on Lopez Rock's message board tomorrow. If people listening would like to reach out to us directly about that, feel free to do so. And we will be submitting that to the county as well.
I do have a question. So you earlier mentioned the possibility of cancellation. Is that why would we want to do that, and or when would we have to pay the cost of the ballot, and what would that mean in terms of the like me as a treasurer, like no money, how do we pay,
There's gonna be
what's
some
that
expenses
step?
coming up, yeah.
Yeah, I think on our next meeting agenda, we need to direct 2 of us to open a bank account on behalf, and then we need to create a plan for raising funds. So, but everything in due order.
So
is the answer to
there is
it.
one date though that's really, really important, and that is the pro statement, and we're seeking con that we're, that we have to. But
When is it due, sorry?
the 6th, so we have to have it by the 5th. We have a meeting on the 5th.
We have a
correct?
meeting on the 5th.
So my suggestion is having a committee of 2, you and Brady, to write the pro statement, and we probably should have some people from the outside that sign it as well. But
we're gonna follow up with the county
Yeah.
on that. Let's
Okay.
get all the details we need from the county, and then
sure, I'm
we-
just saying
I
that
don't know if the commissioners write pro.
I don't think they do.
Just the-
we can. I said, yeah. So that's why I asked.
Our meeting is March 5th, which is the first Thursday as per our bylaws. Do we have a time and place?
We do, Lynn, are you there?
Yep.
Did you follow up with, we can't meet here because they're busy. So you do have the date at the library, correct?
We have the date with the library on.
4 o'clock. on the
Calendar, make sure that we're all in the right place. So April 2nd, 4 p.m. The library.
March.
is reserved.
March.
Oh, I skipped a month, sorry. March 5th, we have the library booked at 4 p.m. So
Okay.
Just to give you the full report, April 2nd, we have booked. And
You know where?
the library.
Let's just pause there for a minute because I feel like there's a bigger conversation around
Yeah.
meeting location. But thank you for your work to do that. But we know we have the one for March and then we'll kind of go from there.
My point is that we're at the library in March because this is full.
Okay.
You and I are working.
Thank you for the slog. I'm very impressed by our audience members who joined us on that. You know, sometimes it feels like work.
Can I also give a special thanks to Carol for volunteering?
Yes, Carol.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I move to adjourn.
I second.
Okay, let's.
Second. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
No. The meeting is adjourned at 7:56 p.m. Lynn, 7:56 p.m.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.